Hi, I'm Jason Ward from MakingStarWars.com. Today, with me is my buddy and my other buddy. How you guys doing?
What's up? How you doing?
What are you doing down there, Rob?
I'm doing the Mitt Romney shuffle. Every time I get ready to bankrupt a toy store, I just, you know what I mean? I just call up old Mitt. And he's there. He's there for me. He can tank any toy store worldwide.
I was about to do this is my brother Larry, my other brother Larry, whatever that joke used to be, but then I was like, that's even dated for me. Because I was 5 years old.
You guys watch Call Me Chaco?
No, what's that?
It's a YouTube channel where all they do is goes, that time you heard a 90s song, and they'll play like 90 seconds of like a 90s loop, and then they do crazy dance, like an actual 90s dance. But it's so hilarious. It's dumb, clean fun.
Right,
yeah.
Right.
Like anytime I'm in a bad mood, I put on Call Me Chaco, and I'm like, I'm happy again.
Okay, so up front, I'm gonna share this little tab here, and you know what? I messed up because I was in my brains. I was thinking of the concept art for High Singer that I can't find, so I feel even stupider about it. At like last month before the show, I was like, I need to find it. And I found so High Singer was this character that George Lucas created for Star Wars: The Clone Wars. And the idea was that Boba Fett and High Singer were going to team up. And High Singer was going to be like the only thing in the galaxy that Boba could trust because it was a droid that it was essentially K2SO. You know what I mean?
Actually, it was Linda. But you know that
Linda Rodstadt, George.
She'd get a little high sometimes, and it was a thing. I thought it'd be a fun name for her. That was my code name for her when we put her down in the book with Heidi.
So she was. What? So you're. I see where you're going with this. I see where you're going with this, George.
We're working it out. It's a workshop.
I think you would have got sued, George. But so yeah,
it wouldn't be the first.
Yeah. So there was like a big dump of concept art for High Singer that was going around at one point. I'm pretty sure I have it on a hard drive somewhere with a ton of other stuff. And tried to find it before the show, and I was failing. But this became the like official design of the High Singer droid, which makes me just completely wrong for the point of the featured image on this one. This is how he ended up for 1313 with Boba Fett, much different with the blue eyes and stuff like that. And yesterday, the connection that I was trying to make, and somebody, a friend in the chat made yesterday, was this droid in the back that I was like, oh, is that High Singer? But that one only has the one eye. See, High Singer usually ended up with having, it's a really dark image, sorry about that, but ended up only having the one eye on this thing right here. Now I thought maybe it's High Singer because at the same time, I kind of wouldn't be surprised if we saw that droid come back into the Boba Fett fold.
Also the purple Decepticon. Right?
Mm-hmm.
That's not Soundwave.
Shockwave.
Yeah. There you go. Shockwave.
So you're going.
Yeah. So, clearly not it. Got the red eye, but I liked where the commenter on Facebook was going with it. And it was like, yeah, you know what? High Singer is something to consider and to think that it could become a part of the show, even if it's not. You know what I mean?
It's also something to think about if you're directing a Queen movie.
Yeah, true. And until he gets to the 80s and he gets the mustache, then his voice goes way down.
He's the director, not the.
Oh, I was thinking about Freddie Mercury. He's a high. Brian Singer.
Before you hire. Yeah. I see. I didn't think. You got me on that one. I was going for the lower hanging fruit.
I was thinking like Killer Queen to Who Wants to Live Forever.
This was that we did the gun at the same time move, right? Like, we're like, oh wait,
two different guns though.
Right.
Two different guns. Yeah.
You had laser tag. I had photon. I understand. We were trying to do the same thing now. Gotcha.
And then I guess while I have this jazz up, we'll jump back over to Tales of the Jedi. I'm not completely convinced by this, but it is probably what it is. You know, it's definitely worth considering. Is that it? Icon Creative Studio, the people who do the Monsters Incorporated cartoon, from what I understand,
Not the Star Wars lightsaber replicas.
Yeah.
This is Icon is hiring for an exciting new production with Lucasfilm. Check out our current openings. Oh, that sounds sexy. Must be willing to relocate to British Columbia for all positions. Also sounds sexy. Modeling and texture, kind of sexy. Modeling supervisor, sexy. All these jobs are these jobs making cartoons or porn? Environment modeler, texture artist, rigging, also sexy. And then animation.
All right,
guys.
Katzenberg.
Sorry.
You want a Diet Coke with that?
But yeah, so that seems to imply that there is an animated Star Wars show coming. Now,
that's not coming out of Taiwan.
That's not coming out of Taiwan. It's coming out of Canada. So our buddy might be there. Our buddy who's shredding on the guitar, if you know what I'm talking about, I invited him today, but I think he's busy. So I don't want to call him out because he'll be like, "Why'd you call me on the show, man? I was just trying to 2-hand tap. I was just like playing Eruption, and then all of a sudden I was just like, not playing Eruption, dude. I was trying to play Eruption.
I wasn't here. You two would just be talking about music for another hour.
Yeah, we would.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it
might still happen.
Yeah, it might just.
It was early.
Hagar, I don't know, Beethoven.
Hey,
you'll be more well-rounded, you know.
Yeah, high singers.
I was talking about coked up Hollywood directors who throw crazy pool parties. You were talking about, well, singer who might have been a crazy birthday party. It's different. It's not the same thing. It's like, yeah, he did throw a great birthday party though.
What do you mean, Del? I just pulled up the Book of Boba Fett about an hour ago, and now you have to search for it to find it. I don't know. Maybe it's the actual book, the Tome of Boba Fett, Part 2.
Well, there's no mistaking what it is then, you know. Like sure. Now I'm like, is it a bookie thing? Is it the mafia thing? You know?
Yeah. So now that we're kind of really quickly, I mean, I kind of think it's worth mentioning and asking the chat as well if they want to partake. We're like, you know, tonight is the night. We're taking our showers. We're putting on. We're putting the talcum powder.
I was gonna watch the other half of the Matrix Resurrections.
Oh no!
I'm dying to know how it finishes. It's going to resolve perfectly and answer everything. I'm dying to know. Plus, I'm told if I don't support it, I'm a TERF, and I just don't understand that argument. But I got that comment.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense whatsoever. You know, yeah. I mean, you can support trans people and also realize that some of them make some god awful fucking shitty art. It just happens. It's just the reality of the situation because nobody makes good art all the time. George Lucas, I mean, some of his art's questionable.
You know what's nuts is I really liked Cloud Atlas. It had some questionable makeup, specifically Hugo Weaving as a elderly woman was weird. But, you know, very masculine. But fine. You know, fine. I really like that movie.
Okay.
And then
I haven't seen it.
The Jupiter, I don't know. Like, I don't where they're at.
Jupiter Ascending was horrible.
But yeah, that was fair,
that may have that looks like a studio driven project. So I put it like, hey, look, Mangold made that Wolverine movie that was fucking horrible. Then Mangold made Logan. I had figured this would have been Lana's Logan, right? Yeah. Like, I'm gonna pare it down. It's gonna have a little bit of a budget, but we're gonna get meaner and leaner. And I'm like, I literally was like, okay, I feel exhausted. Where am I at? Pause. 1 hour. Like, I was like, this was crazy. Like,
if you really want to take Matrix into that area, they should make an AI of Divine and just let Divine direct the Matrix.
You know, Divine was supposed to be
Neo,
Peggy Bundy's mom. Right?
That would have been great.
The episode where Peggy's family first showed up, King Kong Bundy plays, of all things, plays her cousin, and they had another dude. It's dedicated to Divine because Divine was supposed to play her mom.
Okay, question.
Before they could shoot it.
It's always been on my brain. Is it true that King Kong Bundy died from the green slime he put in his mouth, or was that just an urban legend that went around the playground?
I'll look it up. If not, I will pay James Cornette $200 to make a cameo and answer that.
Okay,
for you.
It's a deal.
James Cornette will know.
If you're paying,
will know.
It's a deal.
It's either that or I just throw out $5 super chats during the show I'm on, just so I can get through.
Yeah,
the chatter. That's what I do.
Yeah, people come on the show. You're in a cult, dude. It is. I mean,
he's in a basement. I'm behind a Toys R Us.
Dell says you could see it. He's talking about on Disney Plus. You could see it under original series or specials, but now it's gone.
Oh, they goofed, huh?
No, they probably hid it because they were probably afraid of it showing up before the air time or something weird like that. Most likely.
We're gonna watch it tonight. Are we gonna record tonight, or are we waiting until tomorrow? That's the question.
No. After the episode, I'm coming on here because I'm gonna have some shit to say. Yeah,
I know I planned for this. You know, like we all trained for it, and then the day comes and you're like, "This better be the best fucking thing ever."
As I say, if you're lucky, it'll be good.
Right?
If it's horrible,
this better have 2 beaks. All right, I want a Sarlacc with 2 beaks.
Yeah,
I've been dreaming of a 2-beak Sarlacc for 20 years.
Well,
we're gonna get it.
Yeah, I not trying to make a new mystery and move it around or move the goalpost, so to speak. You guys think we're going to see Boba coming out of the Sarlacc tonight, or do you think it's something that we could see in the series, but that they don't show in the first episode because that's what you'd expect, and it happens in episode 4 or some shit?
No, I think they'll do it right out the gate.
Yeah,
because there's too many people that just don't follow it close enough to know what the hell's going on.
I think the Sarlacc will shit him out on the other side of Tatooine. I like your theory that the Sarlacc goes straight through Tatooine, and the other side is the ass, and we just saw the mouth, and then he'll.
Chris is in with the correction. Wasn't it George the animal still that had the green stuff in his mouth? Probably.
Look, I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. I peripherally watched the WWF in the 80s, right? Like when Macho Man would be on or something, and it was on. We never got pay-per-view. I didn't really get into it until like 92 when Monday Night Raw 92, 93 kind of showed up, and Brett the Hitman Hart. I like Brett and Mr. Perv. I like these 2 dudes. And then I waited until Brett left, and I was done. That's my thing. It's just this little area, this little pocket that most people don't even like. They say it's not even the best; it's the worst. That's the one I like.
No, you and I together make the perfect wrestling fan because I tagged you in as I was getting out. That's when I was like, I'm getting out of this.
James Cornette showed up with Yokozuna, and Undertaker versus Undertaker, and the Naked Gun dude was on there, and Mike Tyson. I think Mike Tyson was after that, but Lawrence Taylor, LT, showed up once. That was interesting.
Lil T. I don't know who that is.
No one knows.
The Joel says the Sarlacc's butthole is located in Moss Anus.
That's perfect.
Joel,
nice.
You win the no prize. Get it? Moss Anus. Oh well,
Yeah.
What if they have the whole Sarlacc thing backwards? What if that is the asshole and they're feeding people into it like an enema? Could be an interesting twist.
Yeah, that's an idea.
I honestly think if that was the case, it would have been in that job listing, and it wasn't in the job listing that we just looked at. It seemed like it would have fit in there. So, yeah. But
all right,
yeah. So
we can hear that fan theory anywhere else.
We have
Fabuloso.
Yeah, everyone else is like, hey, you know what? Let's pretend like Star Wars is school. Everybody, form up and act like you're very much.
Say duck and cover.
No
blasters. No blasters.
Be very
school,
serious.
our school or your kid's school,
and
2 different schools.
we're all Star Wars fans, which makes us culture warriors. Anyways, yeah. Well, I mean,
White
seen
collar.
these
I'm in
guys?
front of a Toys R Us. Like,
Yeah.
White guy culture was destroyed by white men. We just gobble it all up.
Okay.
Bastards.
I blame Mark.
All I hear all day long at school is how great Marsha is at this or how wonderful Marsha did that. Marsha.
So I'm gonna play the video, and we will get on with this shit. You guys ready? Make sure, James, Rob, unmute your mics if you need to talk. And
I'll
you will
unmute
need
my
to talk
mic.
once it starts.
Power.
I'm unmuted.
Respect. Everyone is watching. Waiting for me to make the next move. I have to send a message.
Whoa! Oh, George, you like?
Oh my God.
I'm the Grand Lord now.
The book Boba Fett, original series streaming.
Oh,
Did he say he's the grandpa now?
I'm the
I'm the grandpa now. But yeah,
Well, you know,
so here we go, guys. We're just gonna watch the Twin Sons of Tatooine. Just watch it go.
Goals,
Yeah,
lens flares, doing good. We made that actually. That was a
I think I
fun-
should change the opening of the show from the house to this, but we should put the bike from the Bundys in front of it. What do you say?
And I used to give. We had this poster at the Star Tours gift shop.
It actually was on the way out. On the way out,
Yeah,
if you
on the way
remember.
out. I had told them to put, or you would expect it to be in the ride, and that was unfair. Eisner wouldn't pay for that. Yeah, that's an indie prop. We didn't use that in Temple of Doom. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
This is how I imagine waking up next to her every day, slowly with my eyes. Just,
When you
their
wake
face.
up and you edit a video, like this is at the speed that you're operating at. This seems right. But when you've had two cups of coffee, you're like, you know what? I feel like I cut this one a little too slow.
This is how the algorithm knows. Right? We're just making certain algorithm. Look, there's Moss Anus. Yeah. Duck Chain came up with that originally.
Yeah. Look at Boba Fett. Look at that waist, Boba.
They enjoy
looking good, girl.
hemorrhoidicas in Moss Anus. It's a popular droid servant.
George, you didn't direct any of this, George. Why do you keep giving commentary? This isn't your show, George. You quit.
But I did create the pod droids. They were based off the Ben-Hur droids when they're historically accurate to the
Right. Yeah, George, you just kept doing Three Stooges stuff with that the whole time, dude. I got to be honest with you, man. We were all glad when you quit because we were tired of that shit here at ILM. We just wanted to make Star Wars stuff, and you kept making us recreate the Three Stooges in space, and we didn't follow.
Was that or Jackie Chan, and I had the rights to the Stooges. So,
would it be cool if that just shut on him right there and smashed him?
well, that happened to Mark. That's why.
So, Flashdance place is super fancy. Check it out, though.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, this is everything I imagined when I first drew tentacles on heads.
I think Fennec's gonna walk in there and go, "Hey, can I use the bathroom? I gotta take a shit." And they're gonna be like, "What? Get out of here, Fennec!" Creep.
She's like, "How much for fast passes per family? $20 per ride."
Is this club 33 and a third? Yeah.
All I'm saying is, speeder bikes make more sense when the planet is filled with giant Kashak trees, and you wanted to fly in between them. Make no sense on the ground. But
George, you said it was called Kashyyyk, and you keep changing how to say
Kashak.
things.
No, it's Kashak.
You keep saying Leia and Leia,
Kashak.
Han and Han.
Yeah, It's Gungans. It's Gungans.
The Gungans.
Don't forget that. Yeah, it's Gungans. Ahmed's trying to change it, but it's Gungans.
Yeah. So, how do you guys think Boba
It's like
intends
Cookie
to
Crisp.
rule? What do you think he intends to rule? Like, what do you think he's going to rule like?
Flatulently.
I'm going to go on a limb and say with respect.
Oh, I
First
think
off-
you're right.
He still has that dent in his helmet. Why? We took that out in the special.
That
edition,
doesn't get you respect. I'll be honest with you. Having a big dent in your head, it does not get you respect. People just think you're a dumbass.
Ask Clancy Brown. Like
Downtown Clancy Brown.
well, that's what we called him. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. So I can't lie. I am happy that this is the final first 15 minutes of footage. I expect that we're gonna have to slobber over. I wouldn't even call it slobbering at this point. It's pretty dry. I'm pretty dry about it now, you know.
It's cool. It's not gonna, you know, it's not it's not that. It's cool. I think the thing that I'm most shocked by is that I didn't think pastel colored Twi'leks were gonna be cool looking, but I'm getting by on it. Like in the cartoons, it just looks like a bowl of Fruity Pebbles that are like,
because they're putting I mean, honestly, they're putting fine ass ladies in the costumes. If they weren't,
you need to understand how influential 80s commercials were on me. Like not the actual cartoons, the commercials. Right? Like Goongans is like cool.
My name is Barney, and I'm here to say I love Fruity Pebbles in a major way. Right?
The voice of the Grinch.
I mean, he says the colors, but I've forgotten the colors. It's like red, yellow,
and whatever the fuck the honeycomb thing is. I don't know. Like I don't know what that is.
Just like
it's a yasm.
Sugar Crisp. Remember that guy?
It's Honey Crisp now.
Honey Crisp.
Yeah. You couldn't say sugar in the 80s anymore because
I'm Sugar Bear.
Sugar Smacks. Sugar Smacks became Honey Smacks.
Right.
Well, actually, it's because the bear got a Me Too lawsuit. He was like, "What's up, Sugar Smacks?" And then you got
Sugar.
Rightfully so.
You kept calling everybody Sugar. Yeah. I already goosed the Tricks Rabbit and went a little too far and was actually a penetration lawsuit. But,
well, you know, my favorite thing to remind people in the 80s, and they changed it, by the way, but in the 80s, Trix was round, and the only thing I know rabbits make that are round is shit. So he's shitting the fruit out in your bowl in the little pellets. Then they changed it to actual fruit shapes. So,
I'm definitely a Trix fecal file. Is that what it's called? I don't know.
You know, we could talk about the 15 seconds of whatever, but I think people just never got that we're eating rabbit poop.
That's fucking gross, dude. Yeah,
I didn't. What made out of? Think about that. What do droids?
they were like these like figure eight kind of things. They were really weird, and they weren't very good.
Oh, Wills.
Yeah.
But you would think if George really came up with midi-chlorians, he would have turned that into a cereal. Yeah.
I remember being about 6 years old, and maybe it was like the last box of those I ever ate, those C-3POs. And being like, these aren't that good, but this is an experience. Basically, was my thought. I don't think I articulated it like that exactly, but that was what my almost nonverbal brain was saying. Like, this is an experience. I couldn't
find a tie-in cereal to a TV show that was good until the Turtles cereal came out. The Batman cereal wasn't good.
Fucking
the Ghostbusters one was
Ghostbusters was fucking delicious, dude.
It was okay, but it wasn't.
Oh, I would fucking
Turtles
I would eat that shit. Put in your house.
No.
Fucking
it
mom's fucking wallpaper.
No one likes the Lucky Charms cookie, whatever the fuck that cookie thing is, that kitty litter shit. Right.
Oh, and when the Batman circuit with the Batman bank, I was
Turtles
like,
is better. It replaced
sugar and money.
Chex and marshmallows is the perfect ninja based breakfast cereal. The real shame is we never got He-Man with like
Rob,
the Gray
real
Skull
shame
box.
Is you were too old
like a Gray Skull box
cereal at that time.
And a Snake Mountain box would have been the two perfect boxes. All right. And you could have got a She-Ra box to have, right? And you would have had a whole bunch. You could take the box, cut it open, and you could have turned the box into your little He-Man figures. So I was like, that's when I was a kid, I knew my calling was not whatever my dad planned.
Well, do you remember do you guys remember the first box of Cookie Crisp you ever had?
Oh, yeah.
You felt like you were hacking the system. You were like, I have a bunch of cookies in a bowl, and my mom thinks this shit's cereal. What a fucking clown!
Oh, even better, my Aunt Maggie, who was from Okinawa, served it to me with heavy cream. Jason, you see that? So it was like, what is this? Oh my god! It was like eating just a liquid Oreo cookie. It was like a chip. It was a Chipwich cereal.
Yeah, it's great. Unless you're lactose intolerant, and then that's a trip to the hospital. So,
yeah, I was going to ask you, did you shit your pants after?
I have no
Yeah.
intolerances.
Were you guys were kids? Did you guys ever stay at your grandma's house? Did you ever like stay with your grandmother?
No, she was dead.
She was dead.
I stayed at my grandma's house. I technically did because she willed her house to my uncle. He never changed anything in the house, so he left everything right the way it was when she died. So shag carpeting, velvet. I mean, everything you see in a 70s TV show is there, like to this day.
Well, where I'm going with this is that I would stay at my grandmother's house a lot, and I would wake up in the morning, and I'd fall for this every time. She'd say, "Are you hungry, honey?" or something like that. I'd be like, "Yeah, Grandma, I'm hungry," and she'd be like, "Do you want some cereal?" I'd be like, "Fuck yeah, I want some cereal." Not like that, but in my head, I'm saying that, and I sit down, and it's oatmeal, hot ass oatmeal with fucking milk in it. And you guys, is that the thing?
You had such a hard childhood, Jason.
No, it's weird though. It was a trick. Do you want cereal? And then it's. I mean, do you eat oatmeal with milk in it? I don't see anybody ever doing that.
And I'm certain before cornflakes, which were, we all know the history of cornflakes, right?
No,
it's designed to keep you from,
Oh, okay.
So there's a great drunken history episode with dealing with cornflakes and the invention of cornflakes.
I remember hearing on a pod before, but I don't remember the story now. About
I wrote a paper on it in high school.
Really?
Good times.
Yeah. I heard the rumors and I had to look up if it was true. Wasn't easy to find. I had to go to the actual downtown library in San Diego to get info on that one. But it's true. So that's the thing. Are we going to get any tie-in serials? Didn't they do a Mando tie-in? They did a tie-in serial for something and it looked really bad. Like it looked like real generic art assets.
They created a marshmallowed sugar-based cereal for the new Star Wars films for like starting out Force Awakens, and then they would just alter the box, and then they recently altered the box to Mandalorian. It's okay. It's not really good. It's for kids, so it's like kind of hard to get into as an adult. It's too, but I
want Boba charms, where the marshmallows are the little pieces of his armor you assemble, and it's got little D. Bradley Baker heads in there, right? As the cookie, right? Or whatever, Tamura Morrison. It's all the same to me now. They've merged into D. Bradley Morrison at this point. So that's what I want.
See, Dale, that's probably like what you're eating is probably fucking great. But I'm talking like I'm expecting to have some Ghostbuster cereal, and then it's like brown sugar stuff with milk all in it, and I'm just like, oh, what is this? And then the idea of lactose intolerance didn't really become popular until like the 90s. It was even like Letterman would make jokes about it. Oh, lactose intolerant, like it was a thing. My whole childhood, I'm just throwing up constantly. Like I'm puking everywhere. I'm eating pizza, blah. I'm eating milk, walking to school after eating cereal, blah. I'm that kid. And they're just like, yeah. And my mom's smoking cigarettes in front of me. Blah. It was a weird time. It was a weird time. But so that's probably great. Honestly, I mean, oats
James
with
like,
honey,
this is why I don't talk.
and milk sounds good. James is just like, where the fuck am I right now? What did I sign up for?
This is why Meg gets 30,000 views and you
get
Rob views. You get Rob level views. That's what I'm good for.
I need an adorable British girl voice. I think that's what the show needs. I think if I got
I just like how she went from not wanting to give any spoilers to Boba to completely spoiling all of the Boba stuff. I was like, I knew it. I knew you couldn't resist.
She covers everything.
She was really trying. I could really feel like she was trying. I just want to go in there with no info, but can't gotta do it. That's what this job is. You have to do it.
Yeah, like I said, I'm not trying to speak for her. I think it was about the proximity to the release date with the leaks, because she's been covering the leaks the whole time.
I'm not knocking her. I'm just saying that we tried to avoid that thing. Like she was like, something's in there from the cartoon, and I was like, that wasn't the cartoon with the Bad Batch. Like I was like, oh, I didn't watch the first half. So the one thing that might actually be in this fucking show I never saw because I didn't go back and rewatch the first 8 episodes. But okay.
Yeah, there was this maybe I'll bring it up right now just to get your guys' opinion on it. But there was this new Book of Boba Fett sweater or something like that, like leak that that happened. I saw it. Somebody sent it to me this morning. I'm trying to find it. In my
Does it have
DMs
dad
right
bod
now.
built right into the sweater? Like, does it? I'm making a joke. Never mind.
Oh, there was
behind that one. I'm making a joke.
there's a new Fennec Shand trailer or whatever, and it does that whole helmet view. By the way, there's only one shot of her walking with somebody from behind to the door, so it's just one of those red dudes. It's not worth getting into again, but it does the Fennec Shand visor thing. So if we were wondering yesterday about the Boba Fett visor is out of view from the show, I'm going to say no, unless they're doing the views for both of them.
I want IG-88 view where it's like 4 portholes and they're all kind of moving at the same time.
No, you want
they sink in.
You want the Zuckus, the fly-eyed, 5 million different.
Only when them Twi'leks are on camera. Zuckus, it's Zuckus Day that day. I can assure you that.
Yeah. Well, I'm saving the stuff right now, but yeah, there's.
I remember my stance as a fan was I'm not going to know anything about Rise of Skywalker, episode 9. I want to be completely shocked wherever they go next. And then I immediately started listening to your podcast, and I was like, "Yeah, that's out the door." I lasted 3 days, like a diet.
So it's a stupid looking sweater, so I'm not going to bother throwing it up on the screen. But there's a Boba Fett hoodie that says Boba Fett Mandalore Performance Hoodie. Okay, from Heroes and Villains. It's fine. It's not bad. I mean, it's just not worth showing it. There's nothing, but it has Arabesh, and I think it says Warriors of Mandalore in the Arabesh on it. In your opinion, this is where you finally get to shine with that expert t-shirt based knowledge that Mark Hamilton is here for right now. I know somewhere he's here for it right now. The Warriors of Mandalore. Is that significant? It being an Arabesh and written that way on it?
No, it's they give you a style guide, and they give you phrases you can use because they don't want you putting pop culture phrases into their marketing.
Then it is significant. Then it is
sure,
being dictated.
That definitely came from a style guide. Yeah, okay. No artist put down Warriors of Mandalore. It just doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
So
because
they would have been like Mandalore Cray, or Mandalore's buttered yorts.
Because remember the rumored ending of the show. Din shows up and says, "I want you by my." And he doesn't use that voice. "I want you by my side." That's how he talks. Grogu, you're shitting your pants again. I want Boba Fett by my side. And so
he ate that Yoda soup and it just made some shit.
Yeah.
Too much fiber.
Yeah. So I'm curious. I'm curious if that's just some fucking, Darth Vader and flames bullshit, or if that's gonna have any significance to the series, especially the end of it.
These phrases are always so generic. Like you have to do it for the initial marketing thing. Yeah. But then what ends up happening is like something happens in the episode that's unintentionally funny. Like people go, it says "die dickhead," right? And then Walmart calls up the buyer and goes, "We really want a die dickhead shirt." And then they go, "We want the die dickhead, but we can't put die. So you got to find. We need it to be that way, but find a way to get it through." And then you got to find a way around all that. And then they say, "No, it's not in the style guide." So I got in trouble. Here's how I got in trouble doing this once, right? This is
in trouble story. A lot.
We got the Xbox. Rob. I've told the story before, but
you're a problem. You're a problem, Rob. But go on.
I had the Microsoft Xbox 360 license, right? 2007. And I was putting Leet Speak on a shirt when that was new, right? Yeah. Pwned and shit like that. And they were like, "We don't know what any of this means, so don't do it. Only use the approved phrases in the style guide." And one of the approved phrases says only available on Xbox 360. Yeah. So I'm like, okay. So I put the red ring of death on a black shirt. Yeah. And I put only available on Xbox 360. And I got a meeting. Let me tell you. I got an hour-long beatdown from my supervisors and their supervisors, and Maryland called in, when
Maryland from Cincinnati called, you're in trouble.
Oh my! All you have to do is reject it. It doesn't have to be a big, mock trial and shit. Like what are we like?
Yeah.
What is this, Nuremberg? But whatever.
You're a problem.
I did use the approved phrase. I just want to be. So you got to be careful with those approved phrases. They could get you into trouble. War is a Mandalore. Look, it's like Darth Maul could go on Instagram and jerk off.
Well, one thing.
The year was so crazy that happened. And we have forgotten about it. I haven't, because I keep thinking.
I mean,
one day I'm gonna get hired to do a Darth Maul shirt. How can I?
I mean, I have to be honest. It would not surprise me if, at the end of this series, we get the equivalent of Boba and Din will return in The Warriors of Mandalore, and it's not The Mandalorian season 3. It would not surprise me if the actual Mandalorian is truly a 2-season deal, and that it moves on to something new, that it jumps to a new show as the premise flexes into a new phase or era, But at the same time, I did always hear that it was about the restoration of Mandalore. That's where it's going. And so it really kind of was a 3-season show, it sounds like.
It just sounds like that's rather ambitious for a TV show, though.
Mm-hmm.
The liberation of Mandalore. I mean, that's a big budget production unless you're gonna do it in kind of a weird half-assed kind of way. I can't imagine doing that on a TV budget.
Well, the thing I'm going to say, I guess I would throw in a few things on there, is that Mandalore, if it takes the motifs of the Clone Wars animated series, which it should, because that's what establishes like Coronet City and all that stuff. Mm-hmm. It's going to look, whether they want to or not, it's going to look like Loki, because that place,
right.
You know what I mean, which was done in the volume too.
Yeah,
and so I could definitely see it going that way. But it's also like that place is fuck to fuck. Like Clone Wars, it's going to be worse than it was in Clone Wars by the time you get through Rebels and then the post Return of the Jedi stuff. Mm-hmm. So I would have to think anyways. So you are essentially probably going to be able to destroy that city a bunch and minimize it. Because I mean, like even in Clone Wars, like the city's in a bubble because it's environmentally you can't live there on some of it, and all this weird shit's going on. So I have to think that may lend itself to getting by. I don't know, but I am with you though, in the sense that
you just do this.
Well, wait, are you on Mandalore right now?
They did, yeah.
But you're on Coruscant.
They're liberated. See, painting, fireworks, John Williams done.
Yeah,
you're overthinking this, buddy. Don't Kirshner this up. All right, like we got budgets. This is how Bank of America gets a hold of your whole studio, James. You need to understand. Things can be done in paintings and music with no words. No words. Words make it worse.
Jeff wants the Sarlacc butthole view. I say give it to him. Chosen One says Leland G confirmed KOTOR game is part of Legends on Twitter. I support both canons. Yeah, sure. God, I remember at Celebration 2015, Leland Cheese like walking around looking at me.
For you.
He's looking at me. He's like,
that one. Look, get
like that's him. That's him. And I'm like,
in the foreground.
I'm like, why does this weirdo keep looking at me?
Because I'm on the show.
No, Leland G.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Sorry. My bad.
Anyways, yeah. Tales of the Jedi. Chosen One says, Tales of the Jedi, please. A Legends TV show that ties onto the KOTOR game. See, I think
I'm gonna do that.
Yeah, I think that if Leland Chi said that, which I have no reason to not believe you, that you would come in the chat and lie. Nobody would ever do that. But if that's the case, I think that further shits down the mouth of the rumor that there was a KOTOR movie coming. To say it as crassly as possible. Because if there was a Knights of the Old Republic movie on the way, the game would either connect or it wouldn't be happening.
Yep.
You could still buy the original game. They didn't take the original game off and stuff like that. You could still buy it. They're going to do all this revamping of it and stuff like that. But I'll be honest with you, it makes me not care, to be honest with you. I mean, because it's totally fine to support both canons. I am all about like you can do that. I mean, comic book fans do it every fucking day and they're fine. But if you're going to go and revamp the game, why not revamp the game into canon? Like why? Like that is strange to me at this point.
Games need to stop being canon. They need to stop.
No,
being
you know what?
canon.
If it's
games need to be games.
Battlefront doesn't
That's
need to be
it.
canon, but if it's a game with story and connective tissue where emerging characters could eventually end up in other things,
No, they don't.
Yeah.
Only Star Killer, it can be a fun game where you rip Star Destroyers from space and throw them around. It doesn't need to be canon.
You're right, but we're not talking about that
game.
game. We're talking about a different game.
So in canon,
That's
were they
the story.
taking turns waiting to fight each one? Like how serious were? Like, how canon-y are we talking? Like the events were which events? If it's multiple storylines, which is the official canonized, but then the multiple endings.
They've already given the answer for that.
Endings. See, it doesn't. It's a game.
No. Your individual playthrough experience cannot be canon, obviously. But like the battle outside of Yavin in Battlefront,
is it whatever 2? PewDiePie streams? Is that the official canon?
No. But it's that event happened.
Yeah.
Oh.
But
I hear you.
But it's a role playing game. It's a story.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And in that case right there, I think that a mobile game that about burning Khan needs to be canon? No, I don't.
Yeah.
But
if you come out with a game and say it's not canon, the fans are going to lose their minds.
A AAA game,
fans aren't going to. Yeah, the fans don't want a KOTOR that's not canon.
No,
they and it's sad. I mean, I don't give a crap. Obviously, Rob doesn't. But I'd say the overall majority, I think we're in the minority here. I think the majority of fans, if you came out, and Star Wars fans are weird like that, you know, if you came out and said this isn't canon, they would be like, well, why am I going to bother playing this? It's not canon. And yeah, I'm totally for, like, Visions was great. If it wasn't canon, they could do a video game. It's not canon, but they won't do it.
I mean, it's so fucking far before everything.
So every little storyline that happened in the Knights of the Old Republic MMO is canon.
That's actually my opinion.
Every one of those fetch quests actually happened.
Rob,
I went and bagged 16 fucking womp rats straight to gain a witch nugget.
Okay,
right? And the witch nugget. And then I got 26 witch nuggets to trap a Yuzum, right? To make a Yuzum cap that allowed me to get like that's all canon.
Rob, if it's canon, it doesn't fucking matter. It's the most irrelevant thing ever. It has no bearing on anything. So yeah, sure, it's canon, dude. But that's probably part of the problem is the fact that the Old Republic is still going and it's still profitable, and there's the stuff that happens in there isn't conducive to making a platform for the era. You know what I mean? It is truly like just a bunch of game stuff. It would just be a headache to try to make movies around it, to make comic, in canon around it. It would be hard eventually. So they don't want to do it. And that's maybe part of the reason why it's not. But it's the Old Republic, if it's set when it's supposed to be set, it's so far before. Why not let it be its own canon, but that's still canon and everything else? Like, why does it fucking matter at that point?
And the only reason that Dark Horse was ever even allowed to go into that era is because they made that same argument. Well, it's 5,000 years before the movie, so it's not going to affect canon.
Yeah.
So whether it's canon or not, it didn't matter because it's so far removed from everything else.
Yeah.
It wasn't going to affect anything. Yeah, but that was before they were potentially going to make TV shows and movies in that era. So that changes everything. And that's unfortunate because I think the thing where video games really suffer is they don't have their own thing. Any of the big projects are going to be slated for TV and film. So what does that leave for video games?
I think you're right there. I think the game series needs to have its own continuity that needs to be congruent with the game. Uncharted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't want Uncharted to then have to tie into, The Last of Us and Red Dead Redemption and Grand Theft Auto and this larger tapestry of things that it can never fucking work in no matter what you do. It needs to make sense. So all the Knights of the Old Republic stuff need to make sense in that series of games. But to sit there and even pretend, they'll lie to you and tell you, oh, it's canon. It's not canon. They told you the last one was canon. It's not canon. They all lied. They lie. They have to tell you that because fans are fucking insane. And they think, why? No one thinks that every issue that comes out of Marvel Comics is canon to the MCU. No, the MCU is its own continuity. The Star Wars live action films and TV, its own continuity. Everything else is testing ground for what may go in there and vice versa. The fact that this is they pretend to be one giant shared thing, I'll never understand why Disney even remotely entertained this subject, because it's so ridiculously impossible and a really bad idea for creativity.
But like in Battlefront 2, in Battlefront 2, like there's like an actual story in there. It's not bad. It's decent. If you've never played the game, you could watch the video of it and just like watch it like it's like a little movie. It's not fucking changing my life or anything like that. And it's not the most relevant story in the world either, but it works. And that part's canon. And cool, fine. Like when you do something that is at a cinematic level, it should. I think it should be canon. But I'm also with you in the sense that this idea that all games are canon, like that is a dumb policy. A lot of games should be canon. Like if you're gonna make Jedi Power Battles Part 2 with all of the new Jedi that's going to come out today.
It really happened. Mace Windu and them, it really happened.
Yeah.
It all happened.
Yeah, I don't need that.
It totally happened.
Yeah, I don't need
it's actually pretty good. Jedi Power Battle is actually it's okay to like Jedi Power.
Yeah, it doesn't need to be canon. But if you're going to do a story-driven like fucking Eclipse, then Eclipse might as well not be canon. But if it's not canon, who fucking cares then?
Yeah. Something like Eclipse they can do as canon a lot easier. I mean, I think the big problem was when they started out, as soon as Disney took over the license, they immediately started filling in the blanks for the EU stuff. And but they had no idea where the story was going. So how the hell are you supposed to do anything of any kind of meaning or value when it's like, oh, you can't do this because we might do that, or we can't do this because this character might show up in a TV show. So I was like, well, what the hell are you supposed to do as a creator to try to work around that? Right. And that's why you got like the Aftermath novels, which are completely ridiculous and inconsequential. You got a bunch of dog shit.
Hold on.
They don't know what to do.
Aftermath novels. I'm not shitting on Chuck Wendig or anyone else who wrote that stuff. But you can definitely shit on him. That's a cameo. For $200, I think you can do that. Allegedly.
I think that's in the fourth book.
Yeah. Well, with the Patreon, there's tiers. So. But man, those fucking books are horrible, dude. It's so bad. The Aftermath book, it's like man, what's a good example for this? It's like when you see, when you want to read a comic book at the library and all they have is Bible comics. You're like, yeah, it's a comic. Yeah,
for me, the snapshots of the galaxy and the ideas of what was going on was the most interesting part of it. And then the main story that was in there was just completely Snap Wexley being the stepson of Wedge Antilles. I still couldn't give two fucks. And that's canon. Mm-hmm. Me not giving two fucks is canon now, you guys. My canon. I'll put it in the canon.
We want a book out there that doesn't actually tell any story. It's not really an anthology, but maybe it can kind of be like, it's like when they put out that book, was that book they put out, the points of view? What is it?
Certain point of view. Yeah.
And it's like there's something that means nothing, but we can put it out there and you can glean from whatever you want. Like just put out Star Wars Haiku while you're at it, like Haiku, Haiku episode 1, and then this is 1.5. It takes place in between.
Was there anything more pretentious than the Shakespeare Star Wars books? Remember that? Remember those?
Yeah.
God, everybody who bought that and was into it liked smelling their own farts.
The crazy part is Shakespeare didn't even write it. I mean, keeping in theme with probably his own. What?
I thought that inspired George Lucas. That's the only reason why I read it.
Yeah. I
But,
thought they unearthed them.
Dale says, I
under
think the
Ben
biggest
Franklin's
thing that'll
house.
change
Like, they
about
just found child
KOTOR is the
bodies there.
timeline. Everything else will probably stay the same. And that's where I'm like with that game, that's the opportunity to go and to tune up everything that was bad to early 2000s video game about it. And you know what I mean? It has a great skeleton to hang a lot of better stuff on.
I
They
agree
need to
with
be
you.
able to.
If they're go
Go ahead.
Well, if they're going to make KOTOR 3, and KOTOR 3 is going to use the events of KOTOR 1 and 2, but they don't have a studio to make it. So you want to build a studio or team. They didn't say they want to make KOTOR 4, but
they already made it.
KOTOR 3 come out.
KOTOR 3 and 4 are the Old Republic. They took both of those games.
That don't count.
No,
I'm talking about actual Knights of the Old Republic.
No,
it doesn't count.
It does. They can literally take they could literally pull that out of there and make it into the two games if they wanted to. That's it was literally two
MMOs are not a sequel to
those
two games.
Yes, it is.
Not to fans, they're not.
Dude,
not.
it is.
Not.
It is the third and the fourth.
No
game.
one says they can't wait for the MMO remake series. No one cares.
You could literally go through and play what would be those games in there. What would have been the 3 and 4 is
I can't. So that's like saying I could literally play through the original trilogy in Lego. That doesn't really count, but I can. You know,
Rob,
like it's
Rob,
like,
Rob,
it's not the
Rob,
official sequel to like
Rob,
all
Rob,
other games.
Rob. They listen.
It's the Lego game.
Listen,
it's
man.
an MMO.
Dude. They took the third and the fourth game and dropped it into an MMO, and then added a bunch of the MMO shit around it.
Yep.
And so it is completely there.
Well, I'm going to tell you right now, when they
there.
announced KOTOR 3, the reason why is because here's what happens. If you want to make official KOTOR 3, well, that big number 3 on there, right? Big number 3, let me tell you, that number. They go and remake. They have the studio that wants to make that, goes and remakes an original KOTOR game. So the KOTOR remake, in my opinion, is a setup for them to do an official numerical sequel to those games that exists within its own continuity.
The second game was so fucking trash. It's like, in my opinion, it was a rush.
I mean,
no, well, on the remake side, it depends if they're gonna go that far into the remakes. Like I just don't understand at this point. I don't understand the project. I just got to be honest with you. I just don't understand.
It's to build a studio. It's to build a studio. That's the project.
It's not. It's not. They're contracting it out to a third party who they can trust because they are able to like do that. It's not. They're not doing it internally.
Yeah, a studio is getting like even Spyro was 2 different studios. So you could say, well, it's just Activision subcontracting out to 2 different studios. I mean, it's to get that studio wants to make a bigger project. So that I get there's a hub that's subcontracting it. Okay. But that's what they do. So this studio here wants to make something bigger. They can't pitch the bigger game because they haven't proven themselves. So the way to do that is they give them the remake to show that they have the ability to make the thing they want to make. Now, I'm not saying it will get made, but guarantee you that's how it's being figured out. That's the whole impetus behind it.
Right now, I smell the smell of money with shit wiped across it like it's toilet paper.
Then it would just endless. If that's the case, it would just endlessly put out a stupid remaster where they dump it into Unreal Engine 4, like the GTA fucking series, with some shitty fucking generic lighting and call it which is what they've been doing with KOTOR.
Is that what they're doing?
Several iterations. Yeah. Well, it's just high res versions of the same game. But then this is not what they're doing. What they're doing is rebuilding all the assets and stuff. So it's a different, not a remaster, it's a remake. So Spyro Reignited was not a remaster of the PS1 games. Everything was remodeled and rebuilt with the core gameplay intact.
Yeah.
I think Lucasfilm just needs to have the balls to just reboot the whole thing. Just say we can do better. We're throwing all this out. We're starting over. Because the majority of people don't give a shit. It's just that loud minority, the fandom menace, that ilk, that are going to make a big freaking deal about it if you threw all of it out and you started from scratch.
Yeah. Yeah, because
but then you run into the book things though, James, right? I'm not defending it. I'm just saying you run into the book problems where like, oh, we're gonna make Thrawn not real. We're gonna bring him in our own way. And then you watch it, these just feel like diluted versions of the stories we already got. You know, and it's like when you hear Muppets with weird voices, you're like, all right, I mean, yeah, I guess it's kind of.
Well, they need to trust their creators, and they clearly don't, because they have to keep going back to, well, what do the fans
But
want?
what games? Okay, so BioWare made the first KOTOR, and then Obsidian did the sequel. Now, BioWare is owned by what? 2K Media or Take-Two or whatever? Like someone fucking, or did Microsoft buy them? And then like Microsoft bought Obsidian. So how many like third-party game developers are there right now that can produce an RPG? Do you understand what I'm saying? There's not, like, there was a giant, I don't think the story people are telling is there during COVID, the last year, there was a giant acquisition fest between Microsoft and Sony, specifically Microsoft. Microsoft bought a shitload of studios up that used to make like Double Fine made content across all platforms, not anymore. Obsidian made content across platforms, not anymore. You know, like, so what? You know, I don't know. Blue Point got who did the Demon Souls remake, got picked up by Sony, so they're not gonna go and make third-party content. Like, there's just not a lot of studios currently operating. They have to build. There's this acquisition and then rebuild, and then acquisition and rebuild. This is the rebuild phase of new studios to appear.
Yeah. If this is the route that they're going, they've lost me. Is what it comes down to, though. I mean, like
6 months later, new thing coming out. Ooh, the trailer, can't wait. I'm excited.
Oh no, I'll look at it. I'm not saying I won't look at it. I'll look at it.
Pre-ordered, $110.
No. Well, Dell says,
would you get the skins for Fortnite? The KOTOR skins?
No.
Off like the Revan skins?
No.
I gotta write this down. Hold on.
No, I don't own all the Star Wars skins in Fortnite. I only try to get the
specific one. I just want to.
Okay. Yeah. Dell says they'll add things to flesh out why things happen, but there's a lot that happens that isn't in line with George's vision of the Force, and so I feel like a remake might be the time to tune it up and make it in line. You know, I mean, I don't know. I don't see why. I mean, once you brought Palpatine back, I think we could somehow. I think we could deal with that with like Revan, you know.
Is that not the dumbest line for a premise ever? Somehow.
I'm J.J. Abrams, visionary filmmaker. Somehow.
Well, but that was the plan all along. I mean, they'd plan this out. That was the plan, right?
Well, to be honest, they have that George Lucas. It was the plan all along, and the fact that it was always on the table, as was Kenobi. Like if she had been a Kenobi, they would have said that was the plan all along. Had she ended up being a Solo, you know, that was the plan. But what's funny is that when you really get down to it, her being a Solo was the true plan. That's where they were truly. They were going to do the long lost daughter thing with Rey, and then during the rewrite phase were like, this is a bad idea, this doesn't work, and then then just kind of left it alone. And then Ryan's like, yeah, okay, well, yeah, I could pick that up. She's nobody, that's fine, because Rey's Rey. You know what I mean? And it's like, that's fine, yeah.
And I like where he took it, but it's the Skywalker saga. You know, so I think the inevitable thought was that the main character of the Skywalker saga would be a Skywalker.
Well, I'm gonna throw it out there.
Stop thinking those movies were good and you have to make more of them. Show me how they were really bad and be controversial.
Well, the thing is, like I say, Padme Amidala is protagonist of the Phantom Menace, and she ends up marrying the Skywalker. And they end up taking it down to the romantic place anyway. So if the romance was always on the table between Kylo and Rey, or between Ben and Rey, then that is one way of getting at that angle by the ninth one. You know what I mean? That's how they could have made that work if they wanted.
Yeah, the prequel trying to rebrand itself as a Skywalker saga was just because we want to give you it's like a Luke and remember the things you love, and it really wasn't. And it kind of shouldn't. It should have been like her dealing with, you know, that situation going bad, because you can't make Anakin look. You go, I want to make Anakin the hero who goes bad. It's not a good way to end up.
Yeah.
You know. It's not. You want to see your friends go. What do I do when my friends go bad? Is a more interesting story than here's how I go bad. It's just everyone's gonna walk out in a bummer. I mean, unless you're Darren Aronofsky, you want to make that Star Wars film, you know?
Well, that's kind of that's kind of what I think. Like in the early '90s, there was a lot of trying to recapture what was good about the '70s that was lost, and in a big way, George Lucas murdered that. You know what I mean? Though, no, I mean like Taxi Driver, keeping it real at the end, kind of shit doesn't end up well, kind of idea.
Yeah,
but then George Lucas kind of murders that with Yub Nub by 1983. It's over, and you know what I mean? Like we're in a whole different era after that, and so Lucas, I think, in a weird way, it was almost like, yeah, it all ends up bad for everybody at the end of this one. It was almost like, yeah, I have integrity kind of thing.
So you're saying Mando 3 is 3 Mandos and a baby?
Oh, shit. I'm not saying it.
Where this is all going.
I'm not saying it. That's all I'm saying.
Who's the third Mando? Third Mando. Is it Bo-Katan? Is it Jane? Does Jane does he
Steve
grow back with
Guttenberg.
the head down?
Yeah, Steve Guttenberg.
Or Ted Danson.
By the way, I've been rewatching Curb from the beginning, and I love when Larry's hitting on Mary Steenburgen and Ted Danson goes to see him, and I'm like, yeah, everyone would be hitting on her. I'd hit on her like any day of the week. Like, Ted Danson shows up, just why don't you ask her? She'll fucking wear her cardigan.
the one where they buy the same outfit at the store.
They buy the same outfit at the store, yeah, because he's spinning with her. I love it. I do love it. So,
yeah.
What if it's Larry Davis, the third man now? I could be a Mando. I could be a Mando.
He could be a neurotic Sith Lord, like with the robe.
He's dead. Darth Plagueis, tall and lanky. He could kind of,
Larry David as Darth Plagueis. It's casting that we just never considered before.
Broke it here first. Yeah.
Yeah. Did you guys see when Jeff Garland was in episode 9? It's like that blue alien. It's so dumb. Yeah, he does in episode 9.
Man, I try to forget that movie. To be honest,
you wouldn't even notice. I think he's in the bar on what's her name's planet, on the planet that's under siege.
Yeah, some of the K.
It's like kitty cat with the K.
Yes.
Yeah, something like that. No, my son
movie canon
doesn't. No, well, my son doesn't watch the show, and so I'm not influencing him at all. I actually don't say things are bad to him. I don't want to wouldn't want my dad telling me He-Man's bad all day when I was a kid. You know what I mean? Like I enjoyed He-Man when I was a kid. Yeah. So I don't really do that. Well, I try to teach him to be critical, but you just the day before yesterday, he's like, episode 9 just wasn't that good. So I just don't really want to watch that one. And I was like, okay. I was like, in a weird way, it was like the weird confirmation for me that like when my 8-year-old boy is like not digging it, that it's not diggable. You know,
I can bag on Return of the Jedi all I want, but I can watch it. Even as a kid, I watched it.
That's his favorite.
Couldn't get past 5 minutes of the fucking Ewok movie, bro. Like when I was a kid, I was like, I'm out. I don't know what this is. I'm out of here. It's not Star Wars. I'm gonna go play with my superpowers toys.
Well, yeah, when I was like 5, I had a crush on Sindel, and that made it work for me. I thought Sindel was
the fact
cute,
that you
man.
know that name is impressive to me.
Dude, she was my girl, man. She lived with the Ewoks. She had those little blonde locks. I had little blonde locks,
but she's a little young.
Yeah.
It's like they wanted Drew Barrymore, but she got too old. So they found a Drew Barrymore.
Yeah, for the record, I'm like the same age as the kid in that. You know what I mean? Like we were the same age back then.
Yeah, not now.
Not now, no.
Drew Barrymore. They will try to twist it. So I know.
No. Drew Barrymore from 1997 up though. Hey. Single. Boom. Yeah, good Jimmy.
One time Ward said he liked the little girl from God
Pretty
damn
much.
these guys. Fucking
That's pretty
they're the
much how
worst,
it
aren't
goes.
they? Aren't they?
Yeah, they really are. Yeah,
Kajimi.
Kajimi Olsen.
Solana. Salil, Solana, Fast Incorporated. We're gonna do it. Gonna make episode 9 now. Something midi-chlorians.
I will what I will say, but what not to keep rehashing this, but that movie is such it's a treadmill. It's like just running in place. So I feel like if they do anything else, it's fine. It's just that one's a waste of time. And you know what I mean though? Like when they go on, because like episode 8 was a really good ending for a lot of the moments there. And if you just tacked on the very end of 9 to episode 8, you really do end up like with him changing his mind and deciding I'm gonna go with you, Ray. You kind of like, so if you just kind of look at that as the story, it's fine. So wherever they end up going, I feel like as bad as it is, it didn't break it. Like there are other movies, like I don't want to get into other universes where somebody in the comments is going to want to like kill my family over it or something like that. But there are other franchises where the movies break the whole series for me.
Would one of those be The Matrix?
Dale.
That's actually a good one. The Matrix. Is.
hold on. Chosen one. Yeah. Hold on.
I'll just say the ones that weren't made by Tim Burton. No, anyway, no, but
Dumbo,
yeah.
Spoiled
Let's
again.
Say, Richard Donner's the only one who made that character fly I care about. But no, it ends up like yeah, Chunk.
What?
That moment when Chunk flew. Remember
Truffle
that? Oh no, that was the end of the Matrix when they fly. Yeah. So anyways,
the boy who could fly.
Yeah, no, but it doesn't ruin anything. It just becomes like a bunch of exposition to wherever they're going.
We got to get this out now because as of tonight, we're stuck talking about Boba for a month. So
right.
People didn't understand why are we treading this water? Because it's the last time I can talk about anything now. Boba Fett for 8 weeks or 5. How many?
7
5 weeks? 6 weeks?
7 weeks.
7 weeks. So people know Boba Fett wasn't my character. Matter of fact, I outright got annoyed when I remember when we saw a special edition. Some guy showed up and he had the tattoo, the skull.
The Mythosaur, is that what it's called?
The
Mythosaur?
Yeah, the Mando tramp stamp or whatever.
Mythosaurus Rex.
And I was like, hey man, I'm like, what did he fucking ever do? He wrapped Han Solo up in the tinfoil like my ding dong, not my ding dong, but my ding. Remember back in the day we had to hostess
In the foil.
God, people will not remember this. The hostess food we used to put in foil and wrap it up, and that was the good shit.
Yeah.
He carried that, and then he got backpacked into a Sarlacc. So,
you skipped the 24 comic book series, you know.
On this show, we most certainly did. We only got 3 episodes in and skipped the other fucking 2.
I read it.
Choice.
I read it all. It was not inspiring. It did not inspire conversation or my imagination.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I tried.
I like the placement of characters. There's even the one comic where when they all end up in the same place, it's like Clue or something, and it's ridiculous. And I actually do love it. There's moments where, like, if it was just a the show's gone, demonetized. Is it off the air? Anyways,
was it your trailer?
I don't think so. It shouldn't have been.
Let me see if we're gone. He might just be making jokes. Let me see.
Yeah. But anyways, what was I talking about? Oh yeah, the comic book series. They end up like putting everybody in the place, and it's fun. It's fun, and I liked it. It was just so monotonous to get there, and it milked it for $3-4 a time to get to that moment, and that's where it was kind of offensive to me. You know what I mean? It was like I didn't need to. No, this was, and like I like the core of the Afra stuff and the Afra story. I think Afra is a great opportunity for them to make a character, or they have a character who can have really great adventures that aren't part of the films that it like could make the canon of it invigorated. Like earlier when we're talking about how I agree with you on one hand, Rob, about like everything being canon or not canon and how it's kind of a mistake. I think where it's a mistake is that if they want to go into the main characters in the comics only. And if they want to like do that, then it's a mistake. But if they go and they were to like really, really try harder with Afra, for instance, and characters like that. And Afra, it's been like 5 years and we got Afra.
Afra is real and has always existed in Star Wars.
No, I'm
clearly
saying
just running around the backgrounds, digging up artifacts.
If they want me to buy their like shit, there should be like 3 or 4 more Afras, characters of that magnitude who I can name drop right now and say like, why aren't they in live action? Like there's not really a concerted effort to make that a thing. I feel like, and there should be, because like it's a lot more interesting if you have a character like Afra who does encounter those characters from time to time. They do show up, and that's kind of fine. That makes it a special thing when it happens. But when you have an ongoing Darth Vader series, and I get it, they always want to make money. Darth Vader's a name, and it makes money, but it doesn't ultimately make for great comics or great canon, or it doesn't really. It's not conducive to a great future for Star Wars. Like Boba Fett meets Luke, and Luke is blind at one point. That's when I was just like, almost like, okay, I think I'm out of this. I think this is going to be stupid forever, and there was no one who was brave enough to call somebody on their bad idea or to say no to that.
That's why the best idea for a comic I've ever seen or heard of for Star Wars was the Jawa Adventures that Otis Frampton drew 100 covers for on his own. And they never made it because Jawa's Adventures.
That's not going to sell.
That's so great. It's a great idea.
Not Darth Vader money.
Endlessly do Jawa Adventures. They're always having adventures. They find junk. They go around they dig through the Sarlacc's anus. That's a whole story. Yeah. They fall in love with Suka. They have Suka Day. They hide Suka eggs. Sometimes they fall in them.
You're crapping on my Qui-Gon trilogy, but you're touting the Jawa tales here. Right?
Yes. Have you seen the art? Qui-Gon
Jawa.
It's a questionable guy anyway.
That's why he's a good character.
All right, Melly. I'm sure. Oh, God, can't wait for that one where and he decides to train Obi-Wan at the end.
Yeah, I was hoping that the not to go down the path of why that series sucks or doesn't, but the High Republic comics, I was hoping was going to be the opportunity for new characters that were really like shining, and that would be like a breakout character from that. And there also hasn't been a breakout character from that, which is like, oh no, you know what I mean? I hate to say it, but I wonder if they need to do something like how they got Kinberg in for a time, and Simon Kinberg, and they had all of those guys, gals, and people making the Lucasfilm story group to try to pitch, to try to make Episode 7 a thing. They might need to get some people that are. Not to say that comic book creators can't do it, because they can, and Afra is proof of that. But they might need to have better character creation, a better idea of what they can monopolize on that, because it's just everything is so half baked.
Yeah,
they need events. They need, and not big characters get together for the event, the 20 books. I mean, sequence driven event storylines where they go, all right, what's a big event we could conjure up, and then but a station on fire is not the event I'm talking about.
Oh yeah, no, I meant the Boba Fett losing the Han Solo carbonite, and then that's the event.
No, that's the worst. We've already done all this. That's exactly. I see what you mean, but then it would be like, oh, look, man,
that was them trying for what you're saying. Is what I'm pointing out, right. And they failed.
Right. I think they had one in Lost Stars, and they've since let it go. That's the one thing they've conjured up that resonated, but they're like, but that's not really canon. The only thing that's canon is video games, Topps cards, Fortnite skins, and fucking and whatever Hidalgo fucking tweets out on goddamn Twitter. That's canon. And the theme parks are canon, and the manga anime thing is canon, and the Lego movies are canon, but the Lost Stars, the one book that fucking worked.
Lost Stars is canon. Lost Stars is canon.
It's not. I was told it wasn't canon.
No, it's canon.
No, it's
The
it's
cruise
canon.
ship is canon. It better fucking be
No.
canon.
No. Lost Stars is.
But there's
is-
your series. There's your thing. And I know they made a manga adaptation, but that's the thing they hinge on and then build, around, I guess. Or I don't know, man. Like,
Yeah.
there's a style of world building. Okay, you can get these master classes. See, James has a turtleneck, but I got gobbleneck. So gobbleneck is forever. So and it's very Star Warsy.
They call me Striker Graybeard.
Striker Graybeard
Yeah, that's my Star Wars name.
also would work with He-Man. I'm just like,
Thank you.
So it's you walk between worlds, my friend.
Striker Graybeard, Star Wars, He-Man, Daddy John. Go on.
Yeah.
But
They should
anyway.
have just been like, we're doing fucking 12 issues of this High Republic stuff. We'll see where it goes.
Well, they went too big scale on it. They should have done a smaller scale story because they have to have this big galactic thing and it's this huge event. Just pare it down. Have an incident on a planet or a sector, or just keep it small.
Star Wars Visions is the best example of just concepting ideas out. High Republic could have been a anthology. Like we got different creators, like the original Star Wars Visions comic, right? High Republic, where it's these different ideas, and you see what takes. Like they just right now they don't know what takes, and they're like, we're gonna go in this direction, we're gonna make a decision, and then everyone's like, it's finicky. They're trying to find the next Star Wars idea without George and all those guys who can just tell you, well, I can tell you it is because I created it. They don't have that supposed authority behind it now. So they're trying to find what works. And it's a lot of you got to there's only so many things you can bring into your creative ecosphere. I don't know if that's the word. And if you don't like it, you get burnt out quickly. So if you're like, I jumped on the High Republic, I jumped on the War of the Bounty Hunter, I don't like. Now you're like, I don't know if I'm gonna like anything they do. That's unfair. It's unfair to say that because that's probably when they'll make their. But the people who like Afra don't even get her having adventures. I read 3 issues of Afra. She didn't have no Indiana Jones adventures.
You know what? But yeah, you know what though is if the stuff was free, then I would be like, yeah, but the stuff isn't free. Like when you take literally start taking hundreds of dollars from me throughout the year in comic books that I don't like, that's when I'm like, fuck you, I'm out. Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day,
look, buddy, I was all for your silly Qui-Gon idea. I thought Claudia Gray would have been the perfect person to write a bunch of Qui-Gon adventures. And let me tell you, I fell fucking asleep to the audiobook. All right. With the music and the sound effects and all that. And it still didn't work for me. So
no, I mean, in my opinion, based off of having read her work now, Claudia Gray is good with the romantic melodrama, and you know what I mean, and that's where it should be. Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan. No, that's just I get she probably got bored. You know what I mean? I got working before.
So I get it,
but that that right there is that was not a good place to take it. Honestly,
and there could be a great story. I'm not saying it's impossible,
but what they're effectively doing is taking it. They went from having a very large group of people when everything was going to be canon, who were willing to give it a shot and to really go back and invest in Star Wars print, if you will. Yeah. And then what they've now are doing through their cynical, oftentimes elitist, smelling their own farts ways, is they're taking it back to the fucking Bantam era, where it's going to be like a couple 100,000 people who buy everything, and no matter what happens, it's good. That they're going to go back to selling to that group. But I honestly got to be honest, I don't know if Disney will put up with that for long. I don't know if it was worth it for Lucasfilm under George Lucas, the company who I think you told the story on this show, James, where they were letting West End pay the bills a bit late at times and shit like that. Like that company, it's not the same company now.
Nope.
And where we're at with this, I don't know how all this shit shakes out in the end. But unfortunately don't care. I'm glad that the live action television stuff is thriving, because across all mediums right now, I don't really know if film is the way to do much of anything anymore. I mean, at the level
I gotta
that we
tell you, man, that
hit
Star Wars
television?
Vision and the Ronin book, my friend, like those are the two things I've enjoyed the most outside of the Mandalorian that's come from, and Rogue One. But Rogue One's still OT, you know. But that's totally new and different. And I think the cool part about anime is, you know, visually they can make anything exciting. You watch Haikyuu, it's an anime about volleyball. It's freaking brilliant. Like I'm like, I just want to play volleyball like this.
I love Star Wars Vision. But Star Wars Visions will never satiate the basic Star Wars need in me. It's something I love. I want it to prosper. I hope they continue that on to a whole thing. But it's never going to be the same as tonight when I watch Boba Fett.
Yeah, well, like you said,
a
lot of people will go away from animated. They won't watch it. You can put it out Star Wars, but they won't watch it unless it's live action.
But so I'm just coming. I guess now it's time for me to realize, after the original Dark Horse years, like even since the very first, the original Marvel comics I loved as a child, and then when Star Wars, as I was getting a bit into my adult person, Dark Empire comes out. I read that, and I'm like, there's stuff I love in here, and there's stuff I'm like, what the fuck are you guys doing? And it's highly questionable, you know. But then after that, the comic books, Tales of the Jedi comes out right after that, and I was not on board. I was like, this does not feel like what I'm about with Star Wars, you know. Kid me was much more Mandalorian Star Wars. That's what I was looking for. And but now, after I put all of this together, I think it's just time for me to realize that Star Wars in print is not for me. It fundamentally doesn't work in the way that Star Wars works for me. So yeah, it's kind of sucks, because I would be rad if there was supplemental material that I really love that I was into. But like even right now, Book of Boba Fett's coming out, and the only thing that we know is any kind of tie-in to it that led to any excitement at all was the fact that the comic book series might be a part of it, but it looks like it's largely irrelevant, other than maybe if the Kira thing pans out, that Kira was there, and that Boba Fett has some past with Kira in any way at all. That's it, right? At the end of the day. Yeah. That's all that it ends up being. And so it is sort of like, you know, it's like wrestling. It's like the drama in wrestling. It just to elongate things to the next fight, and the fight is the show. And so, you know,
Warriors of Mandalore.
Oh no. Is that Paul Bear? Is that Paul Bear on the show?
Yeah, he's got the little helmet. He's got Jango's helmet,
urn,
right?
He's got a little urn
with the head in it,
with
still.
ashes in it,
right?
Yeah.
Rise once again, Skywalkers.
Yeah. Still better than Rise of Skywalker.
What?
No, but like you know, like
7 episodes.
like they're I really haven't liked that many movies compared to television shows as of late, with television shows being at the high quality of film now, and so it does kind of seem like in a large way movies are like that Matrix movie, which isn't good, but if it was a television series that elongated all of that, I probably would have been like, okay, I'm gonna go on this ride for a lot longer. I may have even enjoyed it, you know.
Well, we haven't given Amazon a chance to fuck up the Lord of the Rings even worse than the Hobbit movies. So, you know, it is when you spend $1 billion on anything, can't be good. Like, can't be good.
Yeah, and
too much money. Yeah.
No, and then it's funny because it's like kind of the inversion of the whole thing for me. Like Lord of the Rings and Dune, they're better books than you could do on television. In my opinion,
if they were anime, they'd be even better.
Maybe. But remember when C-3PO and Anthony Daniels was Legolas back in the day?
Well, he lost a leg.
He was the voice in the animated Lord of the Rings.
Oh, jeez.
Hobbit
That's
thingy from back in the day. One of those ones.
No, I was missing a finger. I couldn't watch it. It was weird. I told you I had a really weird. I had to get over it. I have an aunt who was born without half an arm, and she recognized my phobias, and we worked it out. But when I was a young kid, because I drew, I was afraid I was going to lose a limb.
Yeah,
I was just afraid so bad.
Yeah, I jack off a lot, and I'm like really afraid of losing these babies. Whoa.
I was gonna say, I could see.
You triggered me, buddy. Triggered me.
All right.
Who let them know demonetized?
Demonetized. We just got 3 copies. Any predictions for the show? Any last minute predictions?
I have some cultural ones, maybe. I'm curious. Okay. Like
that's a prediction.
Well, no. I feel like the cynic in me feels like Fennec Shand and stuff like that were paired with Boba Fett to not make it such a bro based show. The old cliche of Boba Fett. And so that's what they were trying to make it so it has more appeal to everyone. Okay. And so I'm kind of curious if this still.
But then they also added the female sidekick. You think that's double killing or double overkill? Or was it double?
Well, I think that's why they gave him the female sidekick, to not make it feel like it's an action dude thing. That it has more appeal to everyone. And in no way do I think it's going to be bad because of that. That's not what I'm saying. What I am curious about is if the Boba Fett kind of vibe and the action hero-y, very masculine energy of it, though. I'm curious if this is seen as somewhat of a failure in terms of if it doesn't connect, because The Mandalorian had the cross audience appeal with Grogu and stuff like that, and it also was able to bring in lady characters that it made it work for. And I'm talking about very general audiences, not Star Wars fans. And I'm curious as to how this one plays out on that front, because I don't really, with COVID being the way that it is and stuff like that, pretty much the majority of the social interactions that I have are entirely based on the internet. Whereas there used to be you would go to the store and somebody might just start talking to you about Star Wars or something. Those conversations don't happen anymore. People are they keep their distance and stuff like that. So I have no vibe on what this show is, and nobody's brought it up to me outside of the internet at all. So I don't know where this one's at. I don't know how it's faring, and you know what I mean? On that kind of scale. I hope it does really, really well. You know what I mean? And because obviously if it thrives, and we have Mando and Boba, kind of both of those shows feeding into one another, that leads to something bigger. It could, or we're talking about the Mandalorian, the War of Mandalore, or taking back Mandalore being this ambitious project. If you have 2 successful shows feeding into one another, it probably makes that not look like a piece of shit Sci-Fi Channel movie from 2005.
Well, we have to assume that this is going to get parlayed into the other shows somehow, some way, shape, or form. So they're kind of all in. I mean, so if it's a bomb, you're still kind of connected to all this other stuff. Yeah, and that's the risk they run too, because at least Solo kind of floats out there by itself. And the fact that didn't go over well, it doesn't really drag anything else down. But this, if they want to tie it into Mando and possibly Ahsoka, or God knows what else they got planned, then if it bombs,
it goes to Washington, goes to Coruscant. That's what it's about. It's about a Fett out of water. He goes down to the political capital and he changes things for the better, or he fucks it all up. I don't know. Whatever the Depression taught us.
Dude, when
capitalism works.
On Christmas, It's a Wonderful Life was playing on TV, and I was like, God, this guy's a little bitch. I wanted to beat the shit out of him when I was watching it this year.
Because it was as hot as Modesta on that set. It's 3,000 degrees. Everyone's sweating in the snow in that movie. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, hopefully, Nick, I do like the idea if there is a bigger power at play, and if that 4chan leak or whatever is accurate, that Kira is sort of the thing out there in the periphery that Boba will have to deal with eventually. I think that's actually kind of fun. But based off of the rumor,
it could be like Death moonlighting, like Death Star moonlighting. Like they fight, but they really like one another.
Jimmy, that is a very dated reference, Jimmy. Very dated reference.
I think it'll work. I think it's what Star Wars needs is TGIF.
What episode? Peter says, "What episode do you think they'll reveal that Boba we were watching as a clone and show the real one watching?" Twist. M. Night's Boba Fett.
D. Bradley Bakers. We need 12, just all doing their thing. Just Baker.
Ooh, remember that Warriors of Mandalore thing that we were talking?
Yes.
No, I guess that wouldn't play into the Bad Batch characters showing up. They're not really Mandalorians; they're clones. The clones don't really seem to ever claim Mandalore in any way. They seem to treat it as a separate thing. But this whole series, and where it's going, like if it does go into that War of Mandalore kind of place, it does open up. It does open up like there to be generally big events like that are the equivalent of the Return of the Jedi War, for instance, at the end of Return of the Jedi, things like that, where all of this stuff goes. Like this plays into Ahsoka, which you mentioned, James, it makes me think of that. Like Ahsoka is going to have to maybe go up against Thrawn in this, and how is she going to do that? If he has any kind of Imperial remnant of his own, how do they that could end up being something rather large when you get down to it. If the Mandalorians go up against the final Imperial remnant with Thrawn by the end of the Ahsoka stuff, or where that one ends up going, that could be a pretty big thing. And that we would see this all funneling through to that kind of event, because obviously we don't have Thrawn in the First Order leading it. So Thrawn either defects or Thrawn doesn't pan out as being the heir to the Empire.
Yeah. I don't know. My expectations are pretty low. So
yeah.
At this point, because even I'll take a well executed bad premise versus a great premise that's poorly executed.
Sure.
So, and already we're starting with the bad premise, I think, with Boba Fett trying to become my crime boss.
So it's a bad premise with an excellent. Excellent.
I thought Buffy the Vampire Slayer was a pretty decent show, and that was a ridiculous premise. It's X-Files meets 90210, and I thought, well, that's ridiculous, but it was actually pretty well done.
Yeah.
So okay, so yeah.
I never saw it.
But
it's
Christy Swanson is my Buffy. The end.
It's Betty and Veronica. It's not the same. They could chew each other's necks out and live forever.
Yeah, Peter. Stay up with us.
Isn't that beautiful?
No, well,
bro, if we get fucking 9 Tamura Morrisons doing really bad acting, I'm gonna have such a good time with this show.
Hello, friend.
That would be the best show.
My name is Captain Rex.
No, my name is Captain Rex over here.
My name is
Captain Rex. And he's like, my name is Captain.
My name is Echo.
All right.
Yeah,
that's why it's called Echo Base, because they were all talking at the same time.
Yeah, honestly, we're gonna stay up tonight and watch the episode. I don't know if we'll be on the next day or not. I haven't thought that far ahead. I honestly think it depends on what there is to talk about, how we feel about it, because this could
blow up a Greedo, make them really big.
Yeah,
the Greedo with the flappy fingers in Jedi. It's just gonna flap.
Well, let's
We're gonna talk about it.
That would be Beto, Rob. That's Beto in Jabba's palace. Let me have my one geek moment for the show.
Puberty's nothing to laugh at, James.
Well, let me ask you guys and the chat. What are your expectations for runtime? What are your expectations for a runtime tonight?
I'm gonna say 45.
45?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, 37.
37?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
because it's never as long as you think it would be. You know, I remember we were all expecting these to be an hour long, and then they weren't. You know, initially.
Mando season 2 was, but that was with Favreau direct. This is Robert Rodriguez directing though.
They shoot them like there's going to be commercial breaks inserted, but there isn't. That's the
kind of.
I'm like, dun, 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 Cookie Crisp. You know, like nothing.
No,
37 minutes.
Anyways, yeah, no, they're whatever time they like need to be so far is how they've done it. But where I'm going with this is we've seen footage from the first 15 minutes, so there's going to be this part of us that's going to connect the first 15 minutes. Oh, contextualizing what we've been looking at for the past month and whatever. And
Star
then
Tours is canon.
And then we're going to probably roughly have a half hour of new stuff and stuff that we hadn't considered before, you know.
I'm just shocked George didn't put in the fucking Star Tour ship in the special editions. All of the stupid fucking things he worked in those things, you would think, you know. I mean, that fucking robot is canon now, right? Because he's in Back 2, right?
Hey,
Bot 2 or
he put the Outrider, okay? He put the Outrider.
That's canon.
It's canon.
Outrider's canon. It happened.
At least the model of the ship is, yeah. Yeah. So, anyways, though, yeah, I'm hoping for an hour, but I'm expecting about 40 minutes. It is worth throwing out there that this was supposed to be 6 episodes and it was bumped up to 7. So unlike, what some people have said, it was going to be 8 or 9 episodes. That was never true. Nobody ever lost. We've only gained more on this one. So this one was they added more to it. So, but it's made me wonder if there's a chance that the first one could be like a little mini movie based off of the fact that Robert Rodriguez is directing. Mandalorian season 2 was the last television series opening we got, and that one was an hour. I mean, it would be nice if that was the new expectation for these things, is that the opening of the series was an hour. That would be nice. Then after that, you had your 25 to 37 minute episodes.
You cannot go from an hour to a 25 minute.
They did it in Mando season 2. Mando season 2 did that. It worked great. It worked great. In Mando season 2, you felt like you had like your opening movie, and then you went after that to the series. Clone Wars did that too, but you just didn't realize it necessarily because sometimes they would show 2 episodes and it would be like, here's your equivalent of an hour movie, and then or 3 episodes even. I don't think they ever showed 3 in a row, but they showed 2 sometimes. But anyways,
there's these animes that are like they're like 5 minutes long, but they'll do credits and opening and end credits, and they're longer than the actual content. Senyu, I think the Senyu is like a Final Fantasy kind of like goof, right? RPG goof.
Yeah.
Senyu, Senyu, maybe 2 U's. But I remember watching it, and I love it because the credits are just longer than the whole episodes, but they're funny as shit. So that's what it feels like when they do that.
How's it going, Tyler?
I think there's going to be a lot of exposition in this first episode, so that's why I'm thinking a longer runtime.
Oh, I can't wait.
So they got too much to set up, because it's going to be like, oh, you get out of the Sarlacc pit, end of episode 1. I'm like, okay, really? That's all you got? So I imagine there's going to be something else.
do you?
Yeah, I mean, literally,
he's a tough producer, James.
Yeah. Hey,
he gets out of the Sarlacc pit. That's all you got there, buddy, huh? Put him in the pit. Next idea.
Exposition does not equate with boring failure. We don't need it. Exposition can be really great when handled correctly, or it could be done really, really badly. And I would like to think that an expert filmmaker like Robert Rodriguez will handle the exposition better than we've seen it in the past. I hope. Yeah, I hope I'm right. I mean, that one clip that they released was awful. That's the weird thing, but it may have just been the most candy ass boring it may not, it may even be intercut in the final thing, and they just were like, let's just use that as the clip, because they clearly think that things are so much better if nobody knows what's going on, and there's nothing to, and it's just not true. It's not.
Even on set, we were confused.
It's like,
why am I here?
it's so weird though that it just blows my mind that they think it works that way.
Right.
You know, it just doesn't work that way. It's not true. It doesn't get you anything. You know.
Well, they're not adverse to using cut footage, you know, in their trailers and promos. So it kind of seems to say that they didn't film a lot. Like, they don't have a lot of B-roll just sitting around just to throw on a trailer.
Well, we like to call it the mystery Zuckus. What's in the mystery Zuckus? What is Zuckus? Is he a droid? Is he a bug?
In Fortnite, we were waiting for Boba and Fennec to show up in Fortnite. There was like their Christmas Eve present. It was like, you guys don't get to open a present on Christmas Eve. We're gonna get Fennec and Boba. Christmas Eve comes. Just Boba comes out. She wanted the Fennec, and he wanted the Boba, and I'm like, oh, that works perfect. You know, I'll be Mando. We'll team up.
Well, it's my original idea for Anakin to build Zuckus. So you go down and you got the leg. I got a droid. Oh, this is amazing. And then you got the belly. Oh, yeah. And then at the end, Bughead.
Are you
and his
hungry?
mom is like, ah!
Yeah. All right.
Get him off the planet. There's force cannons. He's making Zuckuses. You know, and it's just, they didn't test well. They had to reshoot it.
There'll be a comic. There'll be a comic explaining that. It'll be 24 issues.
I want that sleazy, that Who Framed Roger Rabbit music. And then scan up and then Zuckus head. You know?
No, I wanted to talk like Jeff Goldblum. That would be the ultimate voice of Zuckus.
Yes. I want the Zuckus. Yeah. Yes.
Penny?
Chaos theory.
Zuckus
Penny,
should be.
Are you excited for Boba Fett tonight?
That's a good one.
Are you excited, or do you not care?
That's so good. Zuckus should be. Yeah, because he's the fun. That's genius.
I know. That's
I
why I'm
like
here. Every once in a while it happens.
His buddy could be Cronenborg. You know what I mean? Like, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, he's a Cronenborg.
All right. Well, guys, we will be back tonight at around 1:00 ish. I guess Pacific Standard Time. Yeah. After we have seen the episode, and I will screenshot a bunch of the stills from it. I'll try to do that like right after as we get ready, and I will queue up the show early so people can know where it's going to be. I'll try to do that too. But that start time, just a heads up, is contingent upon it showing up on the app on time as well. If it's 15 minutes behind, the show will likely be 15 minutes behind. You know,
if it leaks like around 8, do we have to do that right then? Can we just wait till the scheduled time? Do we just plan for the one?
It's not going to leak
or later.
It won't leak.
All right. I'm just afraid. Like 30 minutes from now, I gotta go fucking run and watch this thing to do this. You know?
No.
Like,
I mean, if we do that, I'm gonna.
I want consistency. I don't care about the lateness. It's consistency.
Can you get out of my face,
like,
girl?
Sometimes it feels like we got one with Jason. We got one.
Yeah. It's Ghostbusters. Yeah.
So, I just don't show up, and then you two talk about guitars for 3 hours. I'm like, why did I need to know about this again? Like, what was the point?
So it'll be on tonight, midnight Pacific Standard Time, 3 a.m. Eastern. And if you have another time zone, that's all my brain has the space for. So I don't know. But so we're gonna watch it. James, are you staying up tonight, or you have that in you, or is that too hard on your end? Because I know it's much different game for you than me.
Yeah, I'm on Central Time here, but
that's 2 hours, right? 2 hours.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. Because actually, I'm coming over a sinus infection, so if I'm knocked out, absolutely not. But if I have the strength in me to power through this.
Yeah,
and assuming it's good enough that I don't fall asleep during the show.
If you feel like it, by all means, come on. You don't have to say the whole time. You could just come on, say your piece, and be like, I'm going to bed.
Fall asleep.
Max,
take a ballot. Just
yeah, Max will be here. So
his face goes into the cup, but we can't move his head and he's drowning, but he can't away. And we're like, who do we call? Like, we don't know anyone he knows. And we're like, someone he's drowning quickly in the cup. Like, we wouldn't know what to do.
Hey, you get a lot of views on this show then.
That's true.
Yeah.
No, we'll still average about 300.
I'm gonna shoot like this. I'm gonna start a Biggie.
The algorithm limits
kind of death that I could profit off of, like Suge. That's a good idea.
Yeah, see?
Yeah.
I would do that for the show.
Yeah, I'm gonna pit you guys against each other. One of you guys is gonna get shot. What, man? Hey,
all I know is I'm the one with the big fucking mouth on this show. What do you think? Should be ducking and covering.
Dude, just don't go to my Foot Locker. You go to my World Foot Locker. I'll steal your chain and you will get shot.
I was more of a Payless guy as a kid. We were poor.
I actually at that Foot Locker. Remember I talked about that Nintendo guy that I went to the show, got the Nintendo early. He ran that Foot Locker. And so I would get shoes. I would buy like one pair of shoes a year, and they would get like a little bit of scuffs or something like that. And if they weren't too bad, I would return them. He would just constantly return my shoes. So I would buy like one Reebok pump. And boy, I would get the new Reebok pump every month that came out. You would think I was ready to join Crisscross. I could have started wearing my clothes backwards. I should bring that back.
Well, my personal favorite when I was a kid was Stride Right, but that was just Payless.
Stride Right. I remember Stride Right.
Yeah, Stride Right. Yeah, it's where you could get. I wanted the camo Velcro shoes, but my mom said I couldn't have Velcros until I learned to accurately tie shoes because you need to know how to tie laces. It's very important. And now I buy shoes that have nothing. You just slip them on. I don't.
Yeah. I remember in first grade I didn't know how to tie my shoes because I was Velcroed all through kindergarten. And I got my first lace shoes, and this teacher just berating me named Miss Olson. And Miss Olson was a fucking bitch, dude. Like, Miss Olson fucking sucked. And she just, like, embarrassed me in front of the whole school, or in front of, like, the whole playground. Like, you're in the first grade and you don't know how to tie your shoes? You know, and all this. I was like, man, you fucking suck, Miss Olson. And then, like, a couple years later, I went back to the school for dropping something off with another friend as a kid, and Miss Olsen was dead, and I was like, ha 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 ha! I hope you hung yourself with your shoelaces, you old fucking bat.
Got really dark real fast.
Thank you.
My seventh grade math teacher committed suicide second week of school, jumped right off the Coronado Bridge.
Was her name Miss Olsen?
No, it was Mr. Bissell. And then they would go, he'd tank like a missile. I was like, guys, Don.
That is a little funny though. That'd be a little bit funny. Just a little bit.
Kids were dicks for about a couple days.
Yeah,
and they let it go.
Yeah, the show, the show goes off the rails a lot. You know, there are no rails.
We're gonna be talking about Boba nonstop for fucking 7 weeks. What am I
supposed to? Don't say things that aren't true. Rob, you're gonna be talking about Bob Dole somehow. For like
I will
15
only
minutes.
talk about Boba for 7 days straight.
Yeah, I predict we talk about Boba for 20 minutes and then we start talking about some like anime show that it made you think of.
Yeah,
about volleyball. Yeah, ESP guitars. Are they crap? Yeah.
Whoa, that's fighting words, man.
I'm kidding. You see, but that's how you do it right there.
I got my George Lynch Tiger Stripe sitting right next to me.
No, I think you mentioned that. That's why it was in my brain. Actually, okay. I really don't have an opinion.
People don't know this, but Meg actually does a 6-hour show and trims it down to 10 minutes. She just talks about the craziest fucking stuff for the 5.5 hours. So.
She's got that English accent, so she could do 6 hours.
And I listen to all of it.
Okay with that. Hours. Yeah,
it's authoritative.
Yeah, you just sound.
Sometimes
super,
it's about
super
Amy Rose
brilliant.
conspiracy, Sonic the Hedgehog theories, but I just believe all of it. So.
Yeah, Tales Tell. Anyways, yeah, I'm gonna
Tales of the Tales. It's a new series coming out from
me and this lady. We got a lunch date. Hey Johnny, stay up, man. But Johnny, if you're up, dude. Join if you can't. I totally understand because out there in Canada, you have to apologize for being sleepy, and then you just apologize the whole time. So, but if you take a nap, by all means, join us tonight. And
he's got to feed his poutine routine. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
knock you right out. Carbs. What? So I just wanted to rhyme something with poutine for 3 weeks. So
Yeah,
shoehorn that in.
I just want to talk about Strange Brew.
There it is. There's the word.
Strange
It
Brew.
took almost 2 hours.
More
to get in there,
Santeca is in Strange Brew. It's Star Wars. They talk about Jedi 13 times.
Yeah,
And that hockey moment where they're like in the black suits and the white suits. It's pretty cool.
It's the Last of the Jedi scene. Same outfits, the whole bit.
Pretty much, yeah.
pretty much, yeah.
Oh, we saw. Me and Rob watched this video the other day of somebody who found that. What is it? The Ballroom Blitz. If you sync it to the Last Jedi, it's fucking rad, and it is. Sorry,
The original or the Tia Carrera version?
No, the original.
Okay.
But honestly, I think they're probably the same tempo, the same BPM. I don't know.
Pretty close.
Yeah, the original was in Rock and Roll High School, so that's the one I go with. You know.
Yeah, it's a good song.
Tia's rendition is pretty good.
Yeah, it was Tia Carrera. I'm gonna stick with Tia.
You're not gonna go with the Tia.
I gave her the wink. I got a smile. It's my one celebrity story. Bumped right into her. Gave her the.
Sometimes it's the best part. Rob tangent sketchcraft. That's why I like them. You know,
I'm in a Taco Bell. You see that menu up there? It's not consistent.
Yes, Taco Bell has nothing to do with Boba Fett.
Cinnamon crisps, horchata,
Remember
a
the
burger.
remember the balancing Boba from '97? That Taco Bell had.
Follow the bouncing Boba.
It was like, all right, everyone, we will see you guys tonight. And having seen the Book of Boba Fett, this kid wants food.
Give me food.
Oh, I can't wait to watch that Boba Fett. Huh?
No, you get no portions.
I want
Harry
No
Potter
portions.
and Mr. Furley.
All right, everybody.
All of it.
All right, say bye,
wait.
Penny.
no.
Say bye, Penny.
Marsha's gonna be there.
Penny, if you don't say goodbye, the show never ends.
Whatever happened to Jimmy Hoffa?
Hi, I'm a cartoon depiction of Jason Ward. You can support the show on patreon.com/MakingStarWars or on YouTube by becoming a channel member. It hurts to be a cartoon. It's very painful, in fact. But know that every time this channel gains a supporter, a little piece of my soul leaves this toon universe and returns to Jason, making us whole again. This show will always be free, but it's never been free to create. If you think it deserves it, become a channel member or a Patreon supporter. Thank you for the support. Please, help me die.
It's not about spaceships.
Making Star Wars Show. Making Star Wars Show. Making Star Wars Show. Making Star Wars Show.
It's not about spaceships.
All right.
Iron Sheik needs to be a droid. I do think they should get
Iron Sheik needs to F Kathleen Kennedy and make her humble. Should throw that